The Valoran ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. They conquered 1,200 species. They destroyed 400 more. Their warships filled the stars like locusts, and their cruelty was known on every world. No one challenged them. No one dared. When they came for Earth, humanity fought back. They fought with everything they had. Old ships, new ships, weapons that were not ready, soldiers who were not trained. It did not matter. The Valoran crushed them in 17 days. Earth fell on a Tuesday. High Sovereign Keth stood in his throne room and watched the final broadcast from the human homeworld. Cities burned. People screamed. Valoran soldiers marched through the streets, and the blue flag of the Dominion rose over the ruins of every capital. Species number 1347, Keth said. His voice was cold and flat. Primitive, weak, emotional. They will make adequate servants once we remove their spirit. His advisors nodded. War Marshal Drawn laughed. The easiest conquest in our history, Drawn said. Their weapons could barely scratch our shields. Their ships were slow. Their tactics were simple. The only interesting thing about them was how long they refused to surrender. But they did surrender, Keth said. In the end, they always do. Only one advisor did not laugh. Her name was Celis, and she had spent 30 years studying lesser species. She watched the humans on the screen. She watched how they fought even when they were dying. She watched how mothers shielded children with their own bodies. She watched how soldiers charged Valoran tanks with nothing but knives. My sovereign, Celis said carefully. One ship escaped. The room went quiet. One ship? Keth asked. A destroyer called the Black Huron. It vanished during the final battle. We believe it fled into uncharted space. Drawn waved his hand. One ship means nothing. They are dead already. They simply do not know it yet. Keth nodded slowly. Find them. Destroy them. I want no loose ends. Far away, in the cold darkness between stars, the Black Huron drifted. Captain Kang Do-yoon stood alone on the bridge. He was 42 years old. His hair was gray at the temples. His eyes were tired. 3 weeks ago, he had watched the Valoran burn his home colony. He had watched his wife and daughter die on a screen while he was too far away to help. Now he commanded the last free human ship in existence. There were 17 crew members left. 17 people out of 8 billion. They had escaped the final battle by hiding in the debris field of a destroyed station. They had run while Earth died behind them. Do-hyun had not slept in 4 days. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the fires. The door opened behind him. Commander Yoon Sora walked in. She was his first officer, a woman with sharp eyes and a sharper mind. She had memorized every Valoran battle formation ever recorded. She had lost her entire family on Earth. The crew is waiting, she said. They want to know what we do next. Do-hyun did not turn around. What are our options? We can run, hide in the outer rim, live quietly until we die of old age. She paused. Or we can fight. Fight? Do-hyun almost laughed. One ship against the Valoran Empire? One ship is all we have. Do-hyun finally turned. Gather everyone in the cargo bay. I will speak to them. 20 minutes later, 17 humans stood in the cramped cargo bay of the Black Huron. They were tired. They were scared. They were angry. Some of them had been crying. Some of them had not stopped crying since Earth fell. Do-hyun looked at each of them. There was Park Min-ho, the young engineer who had built half the ship's systems with his own hands. There was Baek Yuna, the weapons officer who never missed a shot. There was Sha Ji-ho, the pilot who flew like he was not afraid to die. There was Dr. No-hana, the medic who had studied the Valoran for 20 years. They were all that was left of humanity's freedom. I am not going to lie to you. Doyin said. We cannot win this war. We cannot save Earth. We cannot bring back the dead. He paused. But we can make them pay. No one spoke. The Valoran think we are weak. They think we are broken. They think we will run and hide until they find us and kill us. Dahun's voice grew harder. They are wrong. Minho stepped forward. Captain, there is something you should know. We are carrying a prototype weapon. It was never tested. It might not work, but if it does work, it could destroy a fleet. What kind of weapon? They called it the Hammer of Dawn. It uses gravitational compression to create a focus blast. The scientists said it could crack a moon. Sora raised an eyebrow. Or it could crack us. Yes, Minho admitted. That is also possible. Do-hyun looked at his crew. 17 people. 1 ship. 1 untested weapon. We have 2 choices, he said. We can run. We can hide. We can live a few more years in fear, always looking over our shoulders, always waiting for the end. He paused. Or we can stand up. We can fight. We can show the Valoran that humanity does not break. We can make them remember our name. Silence. Then Jiho grinned. It was the first smile anyone had seen since Earth fell. I did not survive the end of the world to hide in a corner, he said. I say we hurt them. One by one, the others nodded. Yuna checked her weapons. Tell me what to shoot. Hana crossed her arms. I have waited 20 years to see a Valoran bleed. Minho cracked his knuckles. The hammer will be ready. I will make sure of it. Sora looked at Doyan. We have a plan. It is insane. It will probably kill us. But it is a plan. Do-hyun nodded slowly. For the first time since Earth fell, something cold and sharp settled in his chest. It was not hope. It was not courage. It was purpose. Then let us begin, he said. The Valoran have ruled this galaxy for 3,000 years. It is time someone reminded them that empires can fall. The Black Huron turned toward Valoran space. The hunt had begun. The Black Huron struck for the first time on a quiet night at the edge of Valoran space. The fuel station was small. It floated alone in the darkness, far from any planet, far from any help. 3 Valoran workers sat inside, bored and tired. They had been posted here as punishment for minor crimes. Nothing ever happened at Fuel Station 12. Then the lights went out. The Black Huron came out of nowhere. Jiho flew the ship in fast and silent, cutting the engines at the last moment and gliding in like a ghost. Yuna fired 2 shots. The first destroyed the communication array. The second cracked the fuel tanks. By the time the Valoran workers understood what was happening, it was over. The station exploded in a ball of orange fire. The Black Huron was already gone. That was the first attack. It was not the last. Over the next 3 weeks, the Black Huron struck 7 more targets. Supply depots, communication relays, scout ships caught alone in the dark. Each attack was fast, precise, and brutal. They hit hard. They vanished. They left nothing but fire and confusion. Commander Sora studied the Valoran response after each attack. She noticed something interesting. They do not know how to deal with us, she told Doyan. Look at their movements. They are sending patrols in straight lines. They are guarding the wrong locations. They have never fought an enemy like this before. Doyan frowned. What do you mean? The Valoran conquer through overwhelming force. They arrive with 1,000 ships. They crush all resistance, and they move on. Every species they have faced either surrendered or fought head-on and died. Sora allowed herself a small smile. No one has ever run away and kept fighting. They have no doctrine for guerrilla warfare. Dr. Hana nodded. She had been studying captured Valoran data for days. She is right. In their entire history, They have never fought a prolonged, irregular campaign. They do not understand an enemy that refuses to stand still. Then we keep moving, Do-Hyun said. We keep hitting them where they do not expect. We make them chase shadows. The ninth attack almost killed them. They had targeted a relay station near a gas giant. The mission was simple. Destroy the station, steal whatever data they could, and run. But the Valoran had set a trap. 3 frigates were waiting behind the planet's largest moon. Jiho saw them first. Contact. 3 ships coming around the moon. They are fast. Do-Hyun made a decision in half a second. Do not run. Go through the gas giant. Everyone stared at him. Captain, Minho said carefully, the pressure in the upper atmosphere will crush us. Not if we are fast enough. Jiho, can you do it? Jiho grinned. It was the wild, reckless grin of a man who did not care if he lived or died. Only one way to find out. The Black Huron dove into the gas giant. The ship shook. Metal screamed. Warning alarms filled the bridge with red light and noise. The temperature rose. The pressure increased. Minho shouted numbers that meant they were all about to die. But Jiho flew like he was born in the stars. He found the thin layer between death and survival, and he rode it like a wave. The ship twisted and rolled, skimming through clouds of hydrogen and ammonia, riding the currents of the giant planet's storms. The Valoran frigates followed them in. 2 of them could not handle the pressure. They cracked and fell, tumbling into the depths where they were crushed into nothing. The 3rd frigate pulled away, too afraid to continue. The Black Huron burst out of the atmosphere on the other side of the planet. The hull was scorched. Half the systems were damaged. But they were alive. Jiho leaned back in his chair and laughed. I told you I could do it. Yuna shook her head. You are completely insane. Yes, Jiho agreed. That is why I'm still alive. News of the gas giant escape spread through Valoran channels. War Marshal Drawn heard about it during his morning briefing. He dismissed it as exaggeration. No ship could survive such a maneuver. The human vessel must have been destroyed, and the frigate captain was lying to cover his failure. But the attacks continued. Dronn grew annoyed. He assigned a patrol fleet to hunt the Black Huron. 10 ships, commanded by one of his junior officers. It was an insult. He was telling the humans that they were not worth his personal attention. The patrol fleet found the Black Huron near a dead star system. There was no gas giant to hide in this time. No debris to use as cover. Just empty space and 10 Valoran warships. SOR studied the enemy formation. She saw the pattern immediately. They are protecting their command ship, she said. It is in the center, surrounded by the others. Classic Valoran defensive formation. Do-Hyun looked at the screen. They expect us to run. Yes. What if we do not run? What if we charge straight at them? Sora blinked. Then she smiled. They would not know what to do. No one has ever been that stupid. Exactly. The Black Huron accelerated. Not away from the Valoran fleet. Toward it. The Valoran commander hesitated. This was not in any training manual. Enemy ships were supposed to flee. They were supposed to be afraid. They were not supposed to attack a superior force head-on. That hesitation cost him everything. Jiho flew the Black Huron straight through the formation, rolling the ship to present the smallest possible target. Yuna fired everything they had in one concentrated burst. Not at the escort ships. Not at the weapons platforms. At the command vessel in the center. The shots hit. The command vessel exploded. The remaining Valoran ships fell into chaos. Without orders from their commander, they did not know what to do. They fired at each other by accident. They collided trying to reposition. They panicked. The Black Huron slipped through the chaos and vanished into the dark. When the news reached War Marshal Drawn, he did not laugh. For the first time, he felt something cold in his chest. Not fear. Not yet. But something close to it. 10 ships defeated by 1. A command vessel destroyed. A human ship that should have been dead a dozen times over, still alive, still fighting. Advisor Celis requested an audience with High Sovereign Keth. "My sovereign," she said, "I warned you about the humans. They are not like other species. They do not think like us. They do not fight like us. They do not surrender like us." Keth's eyes were cold. "They are one ship. One ship that has destroyed our supplies, killed our soldiers, and made fools of our fleet." Celis leaned forward. "My sovereign, I have studied humans for 30 years. They are unpredictable. They are creative. And they are most dangerous when they have nothing left to lose. What do you suggest? Exterminate them completely. Every last one. Do not enslave them. Do not integrate them. Wipe them from the galaxy before they become a real threat." Keth considered this. Then he shook his head. "One ship means nothing. Kill them if you can, but they are not worth changing our plans." Celis bowed and left. She knew she was right. She knew the humans were dangerous, but no one would listen until it was too late. War Marshal Drawn stood on the bridge of his flagship and stared at the star map. The human attacks were marked in red. 17 strikes across the outer rim. Supply lines disrupted. Communication networks damaged. Soldiers dead. One ship. One small, primitive human ship. Drawn's pride burned like fire in his chest. He had conquered 40 worlds. He had crushed species that thought themselves mighty. And now he was being humiliated by vermin. "Prepare my hunting fleet," he said. 50 warships. I will lead them personally." His officers looked at each other. 50 ships for one enemy vessel? It was overkill. It was embarrassing. It was exactly what Drawn wanted. He would not just destroy the Black Huron. He would erase it so completely that no one would remember it existed. The hunting fleet launched within the hour. Captain Doyen received the news from a stolen Valoran transmission. Dr. Hannah had learned to decrypt their communications, and now they could hear everything the enemy said. 50 ships, Sora said quietly, all hunting us. The bridge was silent. 17 humans against 50 warships. The math was simple. The math was death. Minho looked up from his console. "The Hammer of Dawn is almost ready. Another week, maybe 2. "We do not have a week," Do-hyun said. "Drawn will find us before then. Then what do we do?" Do-hyun did not answer immediately. He walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, 30 human ships were hiding in a nebula. Civilians, children, the last survivors of the human colonies. They had escaped before the fall and had been hiding ever since. Do-hyun had told no one about them. He had been running in the opposite direction, drawing Valoran attention away from the refugees. If the Black Huron was captured, if anyone talked, the civilians would die. "We run," he said finally. "But we run in a specific direction." "Where?" "The graves." Sora understood immediately. The graves was a starship graveyard from an ancient war. Thousands of wrecked ships floated there, drifting in eternal silence. The area was dangerous. Unstable reactors, shifting debris, radiation storms. No sane captain would take a fleet in there. "Drawn will follow us," Sora said. "Yes, and the graves will eat his ships one by one." The chase began. The Black Huron ran. The Valoran fleet pursued. 50 ships spread across space like a net, trying to corner their prey. But the Black Huron was small and fast, and Jiho flew like the stars themselves were guiding him. They dodged through asteroid fields. They hid in radiation clouds. They used every trick they knew and invented new ones. Minho kept the engines running past their limits. held together with tape and prayers and sheer stubbornness. Days passed. Then weeks. The crew grew tired. They slept in shifts, 3 hours at a time. They ate cold rations. They forgot what sunlight looked like. The ship groaned and complained, its systems failing one by one. One night, Una found Sora sitting alone in the dark. "You should sleep," Una said. Sora laughed bitterly. "I cannot sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see the math. 50 ships. 17 people. There is no version of this where we survive." Una sat down beside her. "I know. Then why are we still fighting?" Una was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "My grandmother lived through a war when she was young. Her village was destroyed. Her family was killed. She survived alone in the mountains for 3 years, eating roots and hiding from soldiers. How did she survive? She said she had a choice. She could lie down and die, or she could keep walking and see what happened. She chose to walk." Una looked at the stars through the viewport. "I am not fighting because I think we will win. I am fighting because the alternative is giving up. And I will not give up. Not ever." Sora nodded slowly. "We are probably going to die." "Yes, but we are going to die on our feet." The Black Heron reached the edge of the graves on the 43rd day of the chase. Do-hyun looked at the wreckage ahead. Thousands of ships, broken and dead, drifting in the darkness. Some were so old that their origins were forgotten. Some were newer, victims of pirates or accidents or wars that no one remembered. Among the wrecks, there was one that stood out. A battle station, ancient and massive, the size of a small moon. Its reactors were still active, still unstable, still dangerous. "That is our target," Do-hyun said. "If we can get Dron's fleet close enough, and if the hammer works, we can trigger a chain reaction." "That is a lot of ifs," Minho said. "Yes, but it is the only plan we have." Sora opened a communication channel. Not encrypted, not hidden. Open for everyone to hear. "War Marshal Dron," she said. "This is the human ship Black Heron. You have chased us across half the galaxy. You want to destroy us. Here is your chance." She sent their coordinates. On the Valoran flagship, Dron received the transmission. His officers advised caution. The graves was dangerous. The humans were setting a trap. Dron did not care. "They are mocking us," he growled. "They are challenging the might of the Valoran Empire. I will not let this insult stand." "But sir, the debris field. I do not care about debris. I want that ship destroyed. I want that captain kneeling before me. I want to hear him beg before I kill him." The Valoran fleet entered the graves. On the Black Heron, Do-hyun watched them come. 50 ships spreading out, searching for their prey among the wrecks of the dead. "They took the bait," Jiho said. "Yes, now we need to hurt them badly enough to matter." Do-hyun looked at his crew. 17 people. Tired, wounded, afraid, but still standing. Everyone knows the plan. "Una, your targets are engines and weapon systems. Disable, do not destroy. We need them clustered together when the hammer fires. Jiho, keep us moving. Use the wrecks for cover. Minho, I need the hammer ready in 1 hour." Minho nodded. "It will be ready. I promise." "Hannah, prepare for casualties. This is going to get bad." Dr. Hannah's face was calm. "I am ready." Do-hyun sat down in the captain's chair. His body ached. His eyes burned. He had not slept more than an hour in 3 days. But somewhere out there, 30 ships full of human children were safe because he had led the enemy away. Whatever happened next, he had done that much. "All hands," he said quietly. "Battle stations." The final battle was about to begin. The battle in the graves began with silence. The Black Heron drifted between the wrecks like a ghost. engines cold, running on minimal power. Jiho guided the ship with tiny bursts from the maneuvering thrusters, slipping through gaps between dead hulls. Hiding in the shadows of forgotten wars, the Valoran fleet spread out, searching. Their sensors swept the debris field, but there was too much interference. Too much radiation. Too much metal. Finding one small ship among thousands of wrecks was like finding a single grain of sand on a beach. Yuna watched her targeting screen. Her finger rested on the firing control. Her breathing was slow and steady. "Contact," she said softly. "Valoran frigate, bearing 27 Mark IV. Range 600. Donghyun nodded. "Take the shot." Yuna fired. A single precise burst, aimed at the frigate's engines. The shot hit perfectly. The frigate's propulsion system exploded, leaving it spinning helplessly into a nearby wreck. Before the Valoran could react, the Black Heron was gone. This was how they fought. Strike and vanish. Hit one ship, then disappear into the debris. Let the enemy chase shadows. Let them get angry. Let them make mistakes. The Valoran made many mistakes. 3 ships collided trying to pursue a sensor ghost. 2 more were destroyed when they triggered unstable reactors in the wrecks they were searching. One captain panicked and fired on his own fleet by accident, but the Valoran learned. They began to adapt. War Marshal Drawn reorganized his fleet into tight formations. They moved slowly now, carefully, sweeping the debris field sector by sector. They were closing in. "They are getting smarter," Sora said, watching the tactical display. "They are boxing us in." Doyen saw it too. The Valoran were forming a net. Soon there would be nowhere left to run. "Minho, how much longer?" 20 minutes. "Maybe 15 if I skip the safety checks." "Skip them." The Black Heron burst from cover, accelerating hard toward a cluster of Valoran cruisers. Jiho flew straight at them, then pulled up at the last moment, skimming over their hulls so close that Yuna could have reached out and touched them. She fired as they passed. Weapon systems exploded. Sensor arrays shattered. The cruisers were blinded, crippled, helpless, but one of them got a shot off. The Black Heron shook as the hit struck their port side. Alarm screamed. Emergency lights turned the bridge red. "Hull breach on deck 4. Minho shouted. "Sealing the section now." "Casualties?" Dohyun demanded. Dr. Hannah checked her console. 2 wounded. "No deaths. Keep moving." They ran. The Valoran pursued. The net was closing tighter. Drawn's voice came over the open channel. "Human vessel. This is War Marshal Drawn of the Valoran Empire. You have fought well for vermin, but this ends now. Surrender, and I will spare the civilian refugees your ship has been protecting." The bridge went cold. Dohyun felt his blood turn to ice. Drawn knew. Somehow, he knew about the refugee fleet. "I know where they are hiding," Drawn continued. "A nebula, 3 days from here. 30 ships, women, children. Surrender now, and they will live. Continue to fight, and I will personally oversee the execution of every last one." Silence on the bridge. Every eye turned to Captain Dohyun. He stood slowly. His hands were steady. His voice was calm. "Commander Sora, open a channel to Drawn." Sora opened the channel. Dohyun stepped forward. "Marshal Drawn," he said. "This is Captain Kang Dohyun of the Black. Heron, I have a message for you. Speak." "You should have stayed home." He cut the channel. "Minho, now. The hammer is ready. Fire." The hammer of dawn activated. The ship went dark as every ounce of power was pulled into the weapon. Life support failed. Lights died. Gravity faded. Then the weapon fired. The blast was not aimed at the Valoran fleet. It was aimed at the ancient battle station at the heart of the Graves. The station whose reactors had been unstable for 10,000 years, waiting for something to push them over the edge. The hammer hit. The station exploded. The chain reaction was beyond anything they had imagined. The blast consumed the station, then jumped to nearby wrecks, then to wrecks beyond that. Fire spread through the graves like a wave, engulfing everything in its path. 17 Valoran warships vanished instantly. 20 more were crippled by the shockwave. Debris tore through formations like shrapnel, destroying sensors, cracking hulls, killing crews. In the chaos, the Black Huron moved. Jiho pushed the battered ship forward, straight through the fire and destruction, straight toward Dron's flagship. The Valoran did not see them coming. How could they? Nothing should have survived that blast. Nothing except humans. Weapons lock, Una said. I have the flagship. Fire everything. The Black Huron unloaded every weapon it had. Missiles, cannons, the last of their torpedoes. Everything hit Dron's flagship at once. The great ship staggered. Its shields flickered and died. Its engines exploded. Prepare for boarding action, Da-Hyun said. Jiho looked at him like he was insane. We are going to board a Valoran flagship. We are going to finish this. The Black Huron rammed into the flagship's hull. Metal screamed against metal. The collision threw everyone to the floor. Emergency bulkheads sealed. The two ships were locked together, joined in a violent embrace. Da-Hyun picked up a weapon. Everyone who can walk, follow me. 11 humans followed their captain into the Valoran flagship. The fighting was brutal. Valoran soldiers outnumbered them 20-1. They were bigger, faster, stronger, better armed. But the humans did not stop. They pushed forward through corridors filled with smoke and fire, stepping over bodies, bleeding, dying, but never stopping. Una fought like a machine, her shots precise and deadly. Minho used tools as weapons when his gun ran empty. Dr. Hana carried wounded soldiers on her back while still firing her pistol. Jiho flew nothing now, but he fought with the same reckless courage he showed in the cockpit. They reached the command. Center. Dronn was waiting. He was massive, 8 feet tall, 4 arms, each holding a weapon. His armor was scarred from 100 battles. His eyes burned with fury. You should have accepted my offer, he said. Now your refugees will die screaming. Do-Hyun stepped forward alone. They are not here, he said, and you will never find them, because you are going to die in this room. Dronn laughed. You? A weak little human? You think you can kill me? I know I can. They thought Dronn was faster, stronger, better trained. He threw Do-Hyun across the room. He broke his ribs. He cracked his skull. He beat him until blood covered the floor. But Do-Hyun kept getting up. Every time Dronn knocked him down, he stood again. Every time he should have stayed down, he rose. His body was failing. His vision was fading. But something burned inside him, something that refused to die. Why? Dronn demanded. Why do you not stay down? Do-Hyun looked up at him. His voice was a whisper, but his words were clear. Because you took everything from us. Our home, our families, our future. He stood one more time. And men with nothing left to lose are the most dangerous things in the universe. He moved faster than Dronn expected. The blade went through the gap in the Valoran's armor, through his chest, through his heart. Dronn fell. The war marshal of the Valoran Empire died on the floor of his own flagship, killed by a broken human who would not stop fighting. Do-Hyun collapsed beside him. The battle was over. The surviving Valoran ships retreated. They ran from the graves like frightened animals, leaving their dead behind, leaving their wounded behind, leaving everything behind. 33 ships had entered the debris field. 11 crawled out. They carried a message back to the Empire. A message that would change everything. One human ship had destroyed a fleet. Commander Yoon Sora stood on the bridge of the Black Heron and watched the Valoran flee. The ship was broken. Half the systems were dead. The hull was cracked in a dozen places. Emergency seals were the only thing keeping them alive, but they were alive. Medical report, she said. Dr. Hannah's voice came over the comm, tired but steady. We lost 6. 11 survivors, including the captain. He's in critical condition, but he will live. I will make sure of it. Sora closed her eyes. 6 dead, out of 17. More than a third of their crew gone. But the War Marshal was dead. The fleet was destroyed. And somewhere in a nebula 3 days away, 30 ships full of human children were safe. She opened a channel to the refugee fleet. This is the Black Heron. The threat has been eliminated. You are safe. Repeat, you are safe. For a long moment, there was only static. Then a voice came through, trembling with emotion. Black Heron, this is the refugee ship, Hope. We received your transmissions. We heard the battle. We thought you were dead. We are not dead. We are coming home. In the throne room of the Valoran Empire, High Sovereign Keth received the news. He sat in silence for a long time. The reports lay before him. 50 ships sent. 11 returned. The War Marshal dead. The human ship still alive. Advisor Celis stood before him. She did not say, I told you so. She did not need to. This changes nothing, Keth said finally. His voice was cold, but there was something new beneath the ice. Something that might have been doubt. They are still one ship. We have millions. My sovereign, Celis said carefully, it is not about numbers. It is about what this means. For 3,000 years, no one has defeated us. No one has believed it was possible. Now they know it is possible. What are you saying? I am saying that we did not just lose a fleet. We lost our greatest weapon, fear. Reports began arriving from across the Dominion. On the slave world of Terrath, workers stopped working. They looked at their Valoran overseers and for the first time, did not look away. On the mining colony of Nex 4, someone painted a symbol on the wall of the main facility. A black bird with spread wings. The human ship. Within days, the symbol appeared on 100 other walls. On the industrial planet of Vorn, a transmission was intercepted. It was in a language the Valoran did not recognize. Later, they learned it was an ancient human song about freedom. The myth of Valoran invincibility was broken. And once a myth is broken, it cannot be repaired. Captain Doyen woke in the medical bay of the refugee ship Hope. He opened his eyes and saw white walls, clean sheets, and sunlight streaming through a viewport. For a moment, he thought he was dreaming. He had forgotten what sunlight looked like. Dr. Hannah was beside him. She looked tired, but she was smiling. You survived, she said. I told you that you would. The crew? 11 survived. They are resting. They earned it. Dahan tried to sit up. Pain shot through his body, and he fell back. The refugees? Safe. All 30 ships. When they heard what we did, Hannah paused, her voice catching. They named their children after us, Captain. There's a little girl on Ship 7 named Sora, a boy on Ship 12 named Jiho. They're calling the Black Heron the ship that saved humanity. Do-hyun closed his eyes. He thought about the 6 crew members who had died. He thought about everyone they had lost since Earth fell. He thought about his wife and daughter, gone forever. But he also thought about the children on those 30 ships. Children who would grow up free. Children who would remember. We did not win the war, he said quietly. We just proved it can be won. Sora entered the medical bay. She looked different. There was color in her cheeks, light in her eyes, Hope. Double quotes, Captain. You need to see something. She helped him to a viewport. Outside, the nebula swirled in brilliant colors. But that was not what she wanted him to see. Ships. Human ships. Not just the 30 refugee vessels. There were more. New ships, built in secret, hidden in asteroid fields and gas clouds and forgotten corners of space. Humans who had escaped the conquest. Humans who had been hiding. Humans who had heard the story of the Black Huron and come out of the shadows. 47 ships, Sora said. More arriving every day. And we are getting transmissions from alien worlds too. Species that surrendered centuries ago. They want to know how we did it. They want to know if they can do it too. Don stared at the fleet. His fleet. Humanity's fleet. It is not enough to defeat them, he said. No, but it is a start. Part Minho appeared at the door, grease on his hands, a grin on his face. Captain, I have been looking at the wreckage of the Black Huron. She is beyond repair. But I have blueprints for something new. Bigger. Faster. Meaner. What did you have in mind? I was thinking we build a fleet. Real warships, not converted freighters. Ships designed to hunt Valoran. Jiho limped in behind him, bandages covering half his body, but still smiling. We need to name the first one. Something the Valoran will remember. Big Yuna appeared in the doorway, cleaning her weapon as always. The Black Falcon, she said. Let them know we are coming. Do-hyun almost smiled. It was the first time he had smiled since Earth fell. Build the ships, he said. Train the crews. Spread the word to every corner of the galaxy. The Valoran thought they could break us. They were wrong. In the throne room of the Valoran Empire, High Sovereign Keth stared at a star map. Red dots marked the human attacks. There were more every day. A supply line hid here. A patrol destroyed there. Slave uprising on one world. Sabotage on another. And the symbol was everywhere now. The Black Bird. The human ship. Painted on walls, carved into stone, whispered in the darkness. For 3,000 years, Kef's ancestors had built an empire on fear. Fear of Valoran power. Fear of Valoran cruelty. Fear of Valoran invincibility. One ship had destroyed that fear. Keth looked at the star map and felt something he had never felt before. It was cold. It was heavy. It settled in his chest like a stone, for the first time in 3,000 years. The Valoran Empire was afraid. And across the galaxy. In hidden bases and refugee ships and secret factories. Humanity was just getting started. The Black Huron had stopped an empire. Now humanity would finish the job. One ship had made them remember something the Valoran had forgotten. Something every tyrant learns too late. Empires do not last forever. But the fire of freedom, once lit, never goes out. The war was far from over. The Valorans still had millions of ships, billions of soldiers, thousands of conquered worlds. But humanity had something stronger. They had hope. They had courage. They had the knowledge that victory was possible. And they had the name of a broken ship that had done the impossible. The Black Huron flew no more. But his legend would fly forever. This was not the end of the story. This was just the beginning.